there was a massive fraud going on while booking for a US visa appointment in India, and US embassy in India has cracked it down and put an end to it. What was that fraud? Think about these agencies and consultancies. What they would do is they would go to these visa appointment slot booking sessions and they would book as many appointments as they can, and now they would abuse that because they have a lot of appointments to them. They would abuse to the students that if now students can't see because they have already booked it, they have thousands of people attached to the computer to get all these appointments for themselves, and then these students are now can't book an appointment, and because of that they would have to pay extra $500 $1,000 just to get a single appointment. And US embassies and consulates figure out that this is a problem and we need to fix it. So they fix the problem, and that's what we're going to talk about, how they fixed it and what are the next steps for the students now. Also, I want to introduce my friend Evid, who was an ex-visa officer in Mumbai consulate in Delhi, and she has been a visa officer where she has interviewed students, she has rejected visas, she has approved visa. So I brought her to our channel and she's going to be a regular guest speaker. So she's going to come every other Wednesday, and you guys can ask her the questions and we'll do multiple sessions on different topics about visa. It's gonna be fun one, but I'll let you watch the entire video. You will see what happened, why it happened, what government fixed it, and now what's gonna happen next. Before we even deep dive, let's do a quick intro. Who are you and fun stuff about you?
Okay. My name is Yvette Bunsell. I'm a former consular officer. I worked at Embassy New Delhi and then Consulate General Mumbai from 2018 to 2022. And then I
Hmm.
started my own company. It's called Udeti, which is Sanskrit for rise up and overcome. I just saw a really big need for applicants to have proper interview preparation, and a lot of people had a lot of questions regarding the interview process.
You obviously did interviews of students, right? Like where you interviewed them for their visa interview, and now you are on the other hand where you're guiding students like, okay guys, this is how it is done. So I'm
Right.
excited, and I'll put all the link in the description. And also, if anyone who's watching this and is interested, they can definitely use my code. I think it's UDJ25 right here, and you'll get 25% discount if you are interested. Please feel free to use it. She'll be very popular after this, so she'll forget me. No, just kidding. What happened? There was a big tweet by US Embassy
Mhm.
India, and but before that, let's give a context. Like, what was the issue that US Embassy is trying to solve with the appointment system?
Right. So ever since 2018, there's a huge issue of people and companies snatching up visa appointments. They would hoard them and then resell them to people who need them for hundreds of dollars, and now post COVID, even like thousands of dollars, which is absolutely crazy.
Wow.
So people really
Yeah.
want to go visit their family. They really want to make their semester, and their choice is no visa slot or to pay all this money, which is really unfair. And I
Mm.
think before COVID, we all knew that it was a problem. We knew because the wait time for a visa would be like 30 or 40 days in 2018. But I would see the same applicant who got rejected like 2 days before at my window again. And it's like, how did you end up here? And it's
Right. Yeah.
right. And everybody noticed it and everybody knew about it. So
Mm.
post COVID in Mumbai, they try to circumvent this by releasing appointments on the weekends, thinking that, okay, companies and people are probably not as active
Not
on the
working.
weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're not going to snatch them up, and they try to
Mm.
debug the system, and they tried all these things. And I don't know, the bureaucracy must be just behind, because how
Mm.
could they have not
Mm.
figured it out
Mm.
sooner? So when I
Mm.
saw this news article today that they're going to require people's own passport numbers, well, that's huge, because that passport number now has to match whatever's on your application. And so people can't in bulk take these appointments, um, doing
Mm.
whatever they were doing, placeholders, and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then updating the passport number later on. So now it has to be done upfront using that passport
Mm.
number. Everything has to match when you go your to the VAC. And so it's
Mm.
it's a huge
Mm.
change, and it's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So here's the tweet by US Embassy India, and we can put the link in the description. People can see it. And yeah, so this will, like, it's not something they are thinking. It will be implemented November 27.
Mhm.
So starting tomorrow. I mean, we are filming on Saturdays, Sunday. So uh,
So all F, M, and J, so not just students that are going to university, anyone on an M or J visa as well. I'm surprised they didn't expand the scope to B visa holders. Hopefully
mm,
that's next. So if you have created your profile or booked an appointment using an incorrect passport number, so if somebody used a placeholder, that will not be accepted by the visa
mm,
application center, and the appointment will be canceled and your visa fee will be lost. So only people who have their correct passport number are going to be able to move forward in the process.
so this also means potentially that students who used the services to book an appointment because they were not able to find it, so they use these third party services, they're potentially they could lose their or not potentially, they most likely will be able, like, might lose their appointment.
It sure reads that way.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
It seems that if the incorrect passport number was used, then they'll have to repay that visa fee and find a new visa appointment. That's what it's saying.
Mm, mm,
And
yeah.
but the exception is if you renewed your passport or you have a new passport and you use the
Mm,
old passport number, you can provide evidence. You can see how they're kind of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
you go to your biometrics appointment, and then you will be able to proceed with your
Mm,
visa
yeah,
appointment
yeah.
using the new then that's the only exception essentially.
So, okay, so now this is available. Now, if a student wants to book, like moving from starting 27, what do they do for, like, especially for the spring 2024 students?
Right. So I think this is going to be amazing for spring 2024. Those students who have the I-20 that are starting in January, there's a large number of students still waiting to start to get a visa appointment to start that semester. They're in danger of having to defer. So
Hmm.
Mission India is implementing this a little bit late in the game. However, there is still a lot of appointments that should be released, in the next month, hopefully, because
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
release appointments in waves. They release appointments by consulate or embassy, and it's not necessarily all on the same day. It depends on the capacity of that specific consulate or that specific embassy. So hopefully, by preventing the snatching of these appointments, which has been done for so
Yeah.
long,
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
when students, I will advise you to keep checking. So hopefully now you'll be able to catch a slot much easier than before.
Hmm.
So hopefully you'll be
Hmm.
able to get in before January and not have to defer like so many students are so afraid of right now.
Right. Yeah. And this, I mean, I know you sent me this before, and this is probably just their steps for them to continue the process.
Right. So if you have not applied for, if you don't have a visa appointment and you want to go from step one and all the way to your visa appointment, go to ustraveldocs.com, how to apply, and then it just kind of breaks down exactly how you can
Yeah.
apply.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also noticed that you need to be very accurate on your DS 160 as well. So it
Mm,
seems that they're also cracking down on the modifications that can be done to the DS 160 after November 15th. So, as you're going through this, or if you're working with an agent, make sure that all the information on your DS 160 is correct the first time. Um, so, I would just advise
what
that.
are some of the mistakes you've seen in DS 160?
Yeah, I always talk about the DS 160 because having a perfect DS 160 is kind of like having a really good resume. So
Mm,
a lot of applicants, if they've had a previous job, they'll write, I did this and I did that, and they'll use the word I, and sometimes they'll have like 3, 4 paragraphs. So that's really hard for a visa officer to read. So I would eliminate the use of I and just kind of do it in short form, like project manager or stakeholder engagement or
Mm,
set sales record, you know, just these like small things, like easy to read and like big achievements next to your job, so that making sure that if you've had a prior refusal, you just put, you know, 214B, because that's probably your most likely refusal code. Most applicants have that 214B. So you just have 214B. I've seen a lot of applicants just be like, ma'am, you know, this is why I got rejected, but I have so much more confidence now. So it's like this big long story of refusal. It's funny sometimes, but it's not a good look. And it's not a good look because it doesn't look professional. So you just really want to look at that DS 160 as your opportunity to shine, having proper grammar, and really taking it seriously, knowing what's on it, because it's the first thing that that visa officer is looking at. And if you impress them somehow there, or at least don't disqualify yourself by having, you know, grammatical errors, then you're going to be like one step ahead there.
nice. Yeah. Maybe Evet and I, we are gonna do lots of like bi-weekly series now. So Evet is gonna be like more in like a regular person who's going to be their guest speaker. So maybe we can do like a session on DS 160 or the common mistakes and like people who got rejected D 2140, how what kind of things to expect now from, because you probably interviewed someone who has rejected. So it'll be, I'm so excited to do all these questions with you because you are
Yeah.
like a visa officer who has dealt with it, has asked questions. So now you know what to expect, or at least can guide students. So
Yeah, it's you know, I just say like I'm regaining my karma points back from all those rejections. Now I've turned to the other
nice.
side and I'm just going to help people pass.
I love
Um,
it. I love it.
yeah, it's an honor really, because there's so many qualified applicants who get
Mm,
rejected that shouldn't get rejected because the interview is so quick. So it's really my honor
mm,
just to not just to tell them
mm.
like the common mistakes, just to make sure they present their best selves, because you know it's not just a visa. An F1 is
No.
not just a visa. It's a pathway to greater things, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
an immigrant. You know, I immigrated when I didn't immigrate on a student visa. I immigrated on an immigration petition. But still, we know those visas are pathways to greater things. So
Mm,
they're
mm.
important.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, thank you, Evid, for doing this. And we are filming this like 9 p.m. your time or 9:30 now. So I'm sorry to do this, but this is important for students to know what's coming and what's to expect. But I'm sure we'll see you soon until our next one.
Keep smiling, keep hustling.
Nice. I love it.